All right, we should be recording now. So you guys have already heard from Megan and from Cindy. So last week, Cindy talked about your why and adding to your list. And she had those 5 suggestions on adding to your list. And then also talked about events on that. So real quick, I just want to open it up. If anybody would like to share your why, feel free. I'm not going to pressure you to do so. And then talk to me a little bit about events or lists, if you would. I really want this to be just like a back and forth open format on this. So who would like to go first?
I have a why.
What's your why?
My why is because I'm 55 and my husband is 67 and we need to increase our retirement income.
Perfect. Yep.
Mine is definitely financial right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's really fair to say that, like, even if your why is something else, it all still typically stems back to financial. I mean, you know, because it's not all about the money, but it's what you're going to be able to do with that money, or, you know what I mean? What, you know, whether that's helping or other people or giving back or, you know, your children, so on and so forth. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you have to feel bad ever about saying that. Anybody else?
You mean that it's money?
Yeah. It's money.
Yeah, it's money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think, you know, I just think that sometimes, especially those of us in the Midwest, sometimes it's hard to say that, you know, because we feel selfish or whatever. We kind of have that stereotype about us, but it's perfectly fine. It's why you go to school for 4 years to go get a degree. It's why you work every day. So that's exactly what it is. Any feedback on her kind of action, you know, action steps as far as adding to your lists? I thought those were really great suggestions. I don't know. Somebody has maybe background on. Does somebody have a TV on? Oh, there we go. Anybody want to talk to us about, like, where you were really successful, your wins for adding to your list, or any wins for the week period?
Hey, Autumn, it's Carrie.
Yeah.
Sorry, no video tonight, but I will engage. But so it's been a couple interesting weeks. So I've just been in different places, traveling around. So some wins I think that I've been able to get as far as adding to my list is when I was at an event in Las Vegas, the girl sitting next to me found out we exchanged information, and we've actually been texting and communicating since we got back from that event. She's a young mom in Vernal, Utah, which not much else out there. So she's a target for me. I hate to say target, but
right.
And then this past weekend was a girls' getaway, and a lot of girls that I hadn't seen in 29 years. So I actually took lots of samples with me so that while we were having some downtime, I just shared everything with them. And I've got a few girls. One girl was already a customer for her daughter, but a lot of them now have daughters that are graduating from college and in need, as well as the moms. So I had a lot of good conversations there that I'm following up with as well. So
awesome.
Just taking advantage of those being out of my house.
Yeah, your trip looked awesome too. So
it was fun. Well worth it.
Good.
All right. I was just waiting for a moment to pause so that I could say everything I wanted to say. So I've been working on my list, increasing it, trying to not judge what I think people will do, because I think that's a fault of mine. And then I have set my date for my launch. It's going to be May 5th, and I'm going to do a margaritas and me kind of thing.
Nice. I like it.
And I'm trying to think what else. I guess that's probably my biggest one for the week, is that I'm making time to run my business.
Yeah, treating it as a business. Perfect. Yes. Awesome. Well, what I want to do is, I was thinking about this and I was like, oh my goodness, what do I have to share with you that I feel like are going to be the biggest takeaways? What do I wish I would have known? Not even, I kind of titled this like my little throw up, my little tease that I put up there was, what I wish I would have known before, when I first started. But honestly, I've been in this 3.5 years. I did not let all of this sink in until probably even a year ago, some of it. So I really want to put this out there because it's things that I remember people saying to me that at least it planted the nugget, in my mind, in the back of my mind, so that when I did encounter it or when I came across it or whatever it might look like for you in your business, I could look back on that and say, okay, I am not alone. I know that this happens and it instilled in me more grit and an ability to really just move forward, basically just kind of straighten my back and just push on. So anybody that's on my team knows that I love you. I love you on an individual basis, but across the board, when I do trainings, I'm kind of a tough love. So, you as an individual, I love you. I understand we're all in different circumstances and we're all in different places in life, but across the board, I guess I preface that because I know my team knows me. But for those of you that don't, please don't get offended. I love you. I have the best intentions for you. That's how I come off. So maybe I'm sorry. So anyway.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry, right? But, okay. So 5 things that I wish I would have known. And you can take vague notes on this. You can take no notes at all. It doesn't matter. When we're done, I do want to open this up for a question and answer. And I want to revisit these. If you guys have already experienced them, if you have questions concerning them, whatever that might look like for you. Okay. Because I really want to make sure tonight benefits you and you get something out of this, whether that's 1 nugget, whether that's 5 nuggets. So I'm just going to kind of breeze through these. And then, like I said, we can revisit them. This is a safe place. Nothing has to leave here. And it'll just be up for 24 hours on our page tomorrow. So first thing that I wish someone would have told me is that those in my inner circle will likely be the least supportive. Will their lack of support frustrate me? Yes. Will they say something to my face or behind my back that is probably going to crush me that I'm going to find out about? Yes. And all you can do is accept it and move on. Okay? Because across the board, it happens, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your mom, whether it's your husband, whether it, is somebody unfriending you on Facebook that probably wasn't even really your friend anyways. It's going to happen. Number 2, you have to continuously grow your network. So when I remember when I first got in, I was like, okay, and I feel like I had a lot of friends, and I'm knocking them out because I was like, okay, I know it's a numbers game, so I'm just knocking these out. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm out of people. But the thing is you're not. So 3.5 years in, I'm kind of figuring out like how this works. And the thing is like, I'm having to still step out of my comfort zone. I'm having to attend events, not RF events, but like baby showers and stuff like that I wouldn't have normally gone to, where I'm making connections with my network. So whether that means finding new hobbies, whether it means, making an effort to meet your kiddos' friends' moms at drop off or pickup, going to a happy hour or a yoga class or a jewelry party or another event that you would have usually avoided, that is what is going to grow your network. Even if you look at Facebook events that you've been invited to, that typically a lot of us would just ignore. If you look at that, you look at the friends list on there, you can, and then you go to that event, you've met them, you make an effort to step out and be like, hi, I'm Autumn, this is such and such, it was so nice to meet you. Then you can friend them on Facebook, feel completely fine about it. Just look at the list of invitees, and that's the easiest thing that you can do. And it all pulls back to the fact of what I said first off. Your inner circle is the one that's going to be your least supportive. What I have personally found is that once I step out of that into my second, my third circle, even my fourth circle, people I don't know, for some odd reason, and I would like to do a study on it, they trust you more. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but they are more open to hearing about the opportunity, trying a mini facial, whatever it is. So why aren't we, all of us, myself included, using this common sense, using that network and going for those people? Because they're the ones who are going to turn into your consultants and your PCs. So friends of friends. I used to really shy away from that. Now I look at my people that are really connected on Facebook. I get on their friends list and I stalk them a little bit. I'm not too ashamed to admit this in this group right here. Like I do. And I'm like, okay, this girl and we've got like 20 some connections. I friend them. The last thing they can do, or the worst thing they can do, is to say, and not accept my friend request. Well, I don't even know them anyway, so it really doesn't make me that disheartened. So, but if I do know them and they're local, then I invite them to the next event. It's just, you just have to continue to build this. Right now, like I've been working on this so much that I'm losing track of my new friends. And I'm like, okay, having to go back through my list. So do that. Okay. That is the one thing that I wish I would have done from the beginning, because I would have been so far ahead of the game as to now. So, but I guess my main focus on that is do not stay focused and fixated on those that are in your funnel, because that's something I used to do all the time. I used to stay focused on them. I used to stay fixated on them. And I used to be like, okay, I think they're going to sign. I know they're going to sign. And then they don't sign that month. And then they tell me that they're going to do it the next month, or when they get their tax return, or they get this. If you stay focused on them, it's like a dating game. If you stay focused and fixated on them, pretty soon they're going to drop off and you're going to be left with nothing. And you're going to be starting over. So instead of staying focused and fixated on those in your funnel, move that focus to filling your funnel. Okay, you're going to know who is interested still. You can follow up with them, but you're not going to be nagging them on a daily basis because you're fixated and you're focused on them. You're going to be focused on filling that funnel, adding more people in, making those introductions, and moving forward. Number 3, conversations are everything, period. If you're hiding behind Messenger, stop now. Once they're interested, whether, yes, go ahead, send them that introductory, invite them to something on Messenger. Once they're interested, get them on the phone or get them face-to-face if they're local. I used to, I was just talking to Janine about this on Monday night. I used to be really focused on starting off conversation and everything like that on Messenger and going back and forth and doing all this and doing all that. And Stephanie Ashentrop, she told me, Autumn, you don't have time to sit there and waste it on essentially grooming them. She's like, and I know when people groom me. She's like, so just be to the point, offer them something, and let them know, hey, this is why I'm reaching out to you. I'm reaching out to you for a reason. And honestly, once I switched that, I've gotten a lot better response. So be to the point. If these new friends that you're communicating with, that are local, your first communication, invite them to an event where you're going to host them, say like, hey, coffee or wine, whatever it is on me. And then on top of that, change up how you send messages, whether it's voice messages in text or Messenger or video messages. So don't just, if you're throwing out things on Messenger, that's fine initially, but also switch it up. Let them hear the excitement in your voice. Let them see your face. It's just it's just a better route. It's going to be a lot more personal versus, just shooting off a paragraph. So as far as conversations or reach outs, there's so many reasons to have the conversations. Initially you're going to tell them what you do, invitations to events, have them try a sample, promotions that are running with products, sharing your heart, offering for them to chat with another C for a different perspective. There's a lot of different reasons that you can reach out to them. So just do those, switch it up. Like I said, even if you're getting crickets on it, You might shoot over a messenger initially, and then the next one do a voice message, the next one do a video message, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I definitely ask you to step outside of your comfort zone on that aspect too, and just talk to them like they were sitting right next to you. So that was number 3. Number 4, own what you do. Be confident in it. Recognize that there is a period of establishment with it too. I think we all come in and we think, okay, everybody's going to be like knocking down my door to get what I have, to join me in business. And that's not how it is, because you do have to establish yourself and earn, I guess, quote unquote, that respect within your network. And once they know that you're there and you're there to stay, then I truly feel like that's when most take notice. So, you have to understand that this is a business where you need to get uncomfortable. You need to take risks and to realize that rejection is an everyday occurrence if you're working the business. If you're not getting rejection every single day, then I guarantee you're not working the business. Bottom line. And number 5, do not get caught up in comparing yourself and your journey to any other consultant. I think that's a really easy thing for us to do on social media, especially. But you have to realize that your journey is so different from everybody else's. You can't get caught up, admiring and being inspired by some is one thing, but getting caught up in a competition or, belittling yourself or feeling like you're not good enough is something completely different. And that's something, it's applicable to your day-to-day life, just out and about, but it's also applicable in this business. And so I think that that's really important that you recognize it, you call it out, and then you address it within yourself on that. So with those 5 things being said, I guess I'm just going to real quick do this. My call to action with you guys this week is along that same line, is to unfollow any consultant who does spark that jealousy. If they inspire you, that's amazing. Keep them on. That is so important. But recognize any negativity and squelch it. And then I also want you guys to send 5 voice messages or video messages. Just switch it up. Just 5. So that's like 1 day's worth even, but you could do one every day, whatever it is. I know it's going to be a step outside of your comfort zone for a lot of you guys. And then I want you guys to give yourself a pep talk every single morning. You're not going to this, to a workplace every day. I mean, you see things on our team page, but you're not getting fed every single day with each other's interactions, so on and so forth. I guess like an example, I don't know, like I'm trying to think like an example of a pep talk that you give yourself. Like one thing that I used to get really caught up in is like the first thing that I discussed about how, like I'm just not feeling the support of my family and friends, or what do people think, or so on and so forth. And I've always been a really strong and independent woman, but that really could have consumed me at some times and can get me down. And so like a pep talk that I would say, and I'll post something on the page too, that you guys can just, if it's beneficial for you, I mean, it's something that I feel like we need to speak words over ourselves every day that really instill belief and an acceptance of ourselves and grace and everything along that line. And so I guess like for me, like I would just be like, I have so many people ask me, well, why would you do this? Why would you do this when you have a good job? Why would you do this? So on and so forth. You're not a dermatologist, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I've heard every single thing out there. And I guess I would just, look myself in the mirror and I just say, why wouldn't I partner with the 2 most successful dermatologists who already took one brand global and are hugely successful with it? Why wouldn't I snag an opportunity that allows me to build a business based on residual income in which I help other people gain the confidence that comes with amazing skin and amazing lashes, and it helps change their financial future and how their circumstances look? And why wouldn't I partner with other like-minded and positive women? All of you. Make new lifelong friends, have a ton of fun along the way, and do all of this from an app on my phone. Why wouldn't I recognize that a social commerce platform is where all businesses heading and make the absolute most out of this once in a lifetime opportunity? Why wouldn't I work, quote unquote, the next 5 to 10 years as hard as I can as we grow from the 32% brand awareness in the US and move to launch into the next, other 179 countries that these same 2 dermatologists took proactive? Why, I mean, obviously my list goes on and on. Why wouldn't I stand my ground when my friends, family, network discourage me? What I am doing is not affecting them and only affecting those I'm helping. And the ignorance that accompanies those discouraging comments and the jabs, it's temporary. At some point, they may or they may not understand my dreams and my vision, but it's not my job to make them understand them now. And why wouldn't I look at these 2 doctors, the fact that TPG took a strategic minority investment in RF, and own it? Own that I'm smart and I'm savvy and I'm bold and I'm not afraid to bet on myself and be different from the traditional life that 95% of the population has simply accepted as the norm. I'm not the norm, nor do I want to be. And that pearly white Mercedes-Benz that I will drive someday and each of you will drive, it's going to be a symbol of all the women that we've believed in and have helped believe in themselves. It'll be a trophy for the team, a representation of all that the team has accomplished and will accomplish, because if I can achieve it, they can achieve it. It'll be a badge of honor, not because it's a car, but because it symbolizes grit and grace and determination and teamwork and belief and laughter and tears and frustrations overcome, never settling for what society tells me I need to be doing, and never ever quitting on myself or my dreams. And all of those crickets, anyone who made the jabs, asked why I was doing this pyramid scheme, made fun of me behind my back, well, 2 words for all of them: beep, beep. Bottom line, if I allow the opinions of others to determine my everyday actions, decisions, mindsets, pictures of who I am and who I want to be, then this is not my life. And I don't deserve this business and the gift that it is. There is no way that I'm going to regret working this business 100% for the next 5 to 10 years, but I definitely will regret not working it. And the time's going to pass anyway. So basically, I would say cheers to you, cheers to today, and owning your 24. And so I just think that it's really important that you guys talk that belief in this company and in our team and in what you're going for and against the 95%, because you are the 5%. You speak that over yourself. Maybe that sounds corny, but I guarantee you, like, those words are going to save you when you encounter obstacles and when you encounter the hard days. And so with that being said, I know my spiel's a little longer, but I just want to open it up for you guys, your frustrations, your questions, what you need from us. And if you're lacking in belief, why are you lacking? Anybody? Janine?
I don't think that I'm lacking in belief. I really feel like I have that committed. But what you said tonight was very helpful for me. Again, I know we talked about it briefly on Monday, but the filling your funnel and keeping it full and not focusing. It's okay to circle back, but they're not going to do it on our time. They're going to do it on their time, if they do it at all. And so once we kind of get the feeling that this is not, maybe not their time, I just need to stay more focused on keeping my funnel full, putting myself out there as far as getting to more things. Because, you know, it's easy where I live out here and I work from home. I don't have a lot of opportunity to just run into people. And I haven't been in this area for years, you know, almost 20 years. So it's like starting over with meeting people. I guess that can be good and bad, but and that's a new focus for me. And then the non-comparison thing. That's good. My mantra on my bathroom mirror right now is run your own race.
Yep.
I got to run my race on my time.
Completely.
And let everyone else do that as well. And I can't get up, I can't compare myself if I think, oh, she's been in here the same and she's got 2 more recruits, and let that get into my head, because I don't know her day. I don't know her schedule. I don't know her life. And she doesn't know mine. So I just have to remember to run my own race and keep my funnel full.
Yep.
But as far as my commitment to the company and the belief in what we're doing, I think I'm there on that.
Good. Good.
That was my 2 cents.
No, I loved it. Thank you. It's awesome.
You're such a firecracker.
Anybody else?
You know, Autumn, this is Carrie.
Yeah.
And I will say, one of your exercises that we did recently, just with the alphabet, going back to our list, as you're talking about, filling the funnel and not getting fixated on others, I think I had a tendency to do that. And when I went back to my alphabet, in my group that I had, realized there were, individuals that were still hanging in there and watching, but I hadn't communicated with some of them. Some since I started with the business, some
Right.
it had been, 6 to 8 months. So it was really good to circle back with a lot of these women and start up some conversations again where it had been sitting idle for a while.
Right.
And I also kind of shook up my my dialogue, my verbiage in what I'm using. Sometimes I think I do an information dump where I'm just trying to keep it really simple right now, just to spark the interest to get them to that next step.
Yep. No,
So
agree. I think that that's really smart. Yeah, to almost just kind of put out teasers for them. And
so always learning.
yeah, right. I know. Well, and when we did that alphabet thing, I mean, I'm doing it right along with you guys. So for those of you that aren't on our team, we just started with, started going through the alphabet for our contacts. I personally did it first name because in Facebook it lists them by first name alphabetically on your phone. It doesn't on Facebook, but it does on your phone. And I found so many people that initially had told me no in 2016, or had told me in 2016 that they were currently using the products. Well, why hadn't I ever revisited that? I mean, we all know how quickly consultants can drop off. And so I would just touch base with them and just say, like, hey, are you still using Reverse? Are you still liking it? Last time we chatted, that's what you were on. Because you never know what's going to come of that. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't any longer, or, their consultant has dropped off, but they've been looking for, somebody else to hop in with. So they're just so, yeah, I mean, the alphabet it's so simplistic, but it's been so good for all of us that are doing it. So that's an idea for any of you who just need a place to start even.
I noticed, Autumn, when I started doing the alphabet, that there were some people in each of those letters that I initially, when I went through my contact list, prejudged.
Right.
And didn't reach out, or for some reason, I just skipped them for whatever reason at that time. Maybe I didn't have the confidence, or I didn't have what I felt was enough information or the right reach out to bring. But going back through the second time, I was very careful not to skip.
Right.
Even if it was a hello message,
Yep.
I made sure I touched everybody. And that made me feel really good, even if it didn't convert to anything, just because I was being more thorough and I was getting uncomfortable, but, just going through the exercise. And I was actually surprised and disappointed in myself in how many people that I had chosen the first time through my contacts to not reach out to. I was like, what was I waiting on? But I know I was just new and scared. And so, even if it's just a hello, this is what I'm doing now. It's important to not skip people.
Yep. Well, and you never know. I mean, so many of my first PCs because I didn't lead with a business initially, but so many of my first PCs were people that I would have never guessed, never in a million years would have guessed would be interested. And not only that, but you have, I mean, do they have daughters? Do you know that's struggling with acne? Do they have a niece, or who knows? So yeah, I agree completely, Janine. It's yeah, need to hit everybody, give everybody the benefit of what this can be. So do any of you guys struggle or have had experiences with negativity being thrown at you or anything like that? And how do you handle it and not let it get you down? Whether that be yourself or other people that are close to you?
I get in my own way for sure.
Mhm.
Like in my head, I stop myself before I even get there. I like don't even get to the
Good.
starting line. I'm like, oop, nope, pull myself back every time.
Mm-hmm. Good. I mean, and honestly, like with that, like self-talk, guys, I still have to do that to myself sometimes because this is so not traditional. You know, this is so what online dating used to be 10 years ago. People used to be like, you did what? You met how? I mean, and I can say that firsthand because like I met my husband on online dating and I remember I was like, okay, we are not going to tell anybody that this is how we met. Because I was like embarrassed about it, right? And he agreed with me. He's like, yeah, I agree. So, and now, I mean, everybody I know is meeting like online dating is like the new norm, right? So that's exactly how I associate this. Right now, people will be like, you're doing what? Like, that's not traditional. That's not normal. Like, isn't it awkward? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, all the same thoughts and feelings because it's not quote unquote accepted by society. And that's because we're ahead of the game. And if I just want you guys to ingrain that in your mind because you are the 5%. So the 95% that you're going to be facing on a day-to-day basis don't get it. They don't. And so you have to have that belief here and know that they will get it. It's just going to take some time. And they're going to be like, man, I wish I would have listened to you. So just, yeah, own it, be confident in it. And if you encounter things like that, or if it's just even you and your own self-doubt, like I said, I'll post something, you know, that you can like, because it's like all the like facts, like, why would I say why? Like, why not? Like, this is an amazing opportunity. But you have to sometimes give yourself that pep talk because the rejection can be hard. You know, and just, yeah, days can be hard sometimes. So I just want to make sure that you guys are armed for that because I'm a realist too. Like I try to be positive, but I'm a realist and I know that days are hard sometimes and you're going to be like, why am I doing this? You know, like my business hasn't grown in like 3 months and it's so hard to hit EC sometimes. And like these 5 consultants, the last 5 consultants I've had, like haven't done anything, or you know, 2 consultants that I thought were going to enroll haven't enrolled, and now they're ghosting me, and we're all there. We're all there. Like I'm still there, but it is worth it, and it's going to continue to be worth it because we are truly just getting started. But you have to have that belief ingrained in you, and like I said, sometimes you feel like you're on an island, but that's why you have to give yourself a pep talk to give yourself the facts of why this is a really smart business move so that you can have that belief system. Because when somebody comes at you and they're like, you know, you're not a dermatologist, right? Or why are you doing this again? Like, don't you have a good job? Or, you know, whatever it might be. Like yeah, I mean, I've had my best friend and her husband come at me. You know, I know like Sarah Reinecke, it's her family. And I mean, like we all have it. And if you don't, oh, awesome. That is amazing. But you just need to be armed with the right tools and the right facts and the right belief and the right support to make you feel like, you know, on those off days that this is worth it. You can do it and you will do it. So it's all about mindset
Mindset, mindfulness.
and mindfulness. Yes.
If you guys haven't read the book, The Girl Books by Rachel Hollis, you need to, because they're very effective in mindset. Both of them, Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing.
Mhm.
Very, very good.
After the semester, I will be free to read as much as you want me to read. But right now, calculus and business policy are my best friend.
You got it. I'll hold you to that, Jody.
That's fine. I'm a great reader. I love to read, so I'm happy to read things that I want to read. But
Anybody
Good
else?
talk, Autumn.
Herminia,
So-
did you have something?
Yeah. So I've been doing this for about a month now, and I've been posting on my Facebook business page once a week, mostly up before and after pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that I got some decent feedback at the beginning, but now it's like only literally one person who will like my posts.
Mhm.
So I kind of feel like, should I be doing something different?
Yeah.
Or just keep doing this?
And then are you reaching out as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple things that I will say on that. That's everybody. Don't
Okay.
feel alone. Because people in their human nature, the way they're thinking is they're like, they are watching you still. I guarantee you they're watching you.
Okay.
They just don't want to like or comment, because then they're like, oh, if I like or comment, then she's totally going to like reach out to me and ask me to buy something or whatever.
Mm.
Ignore it. That's fine. That's just how human nature, like how their minds are wired. Our minds are wired as well. What I personally recommend doing is, first of all, really personalizing. Like, so are you a group or a page or?
It's a business page.
Okay. So I would personalize as much as possible.
Okay.
Okay. Because the more you can put out there, and I would even up your posts, like maybe to, you know, at least 2, maybe 3 times a week. I mean, don't overload, but throw those things out there. And then if you feel the need, what I do sometimes is I you know, mine is primarily RF, but I do throw in occasionally. I'd like to do it more. It's just life happens. I'll throw in something else. Like if I find a great deal on this or a new hairstyle or whatever, you know, it can be whatever is your forte.
Mhm.
Because it's funny when you throw in other posts that aren't RF, you're going to see who's still following.
Oh,
You know what
okay.
I mean? And then even if they're not interested in RF, you're not going to want to necessarily unfollow that group or that page, because they want these other little tidbits that are going to be offered. And then at some point, either they're going to need RF, or we're going to come out with a product that's going to pique their interest, or they're going to have a daughter that hits puberty. You know what I mean? So you're still in the forefront, or in the back, not in the forefront, more in the background of their mind, but it still keeps them engaged. So that's another, you know, like, or if you like, if there's a new book out that you like, or that you found one that you really like, you know, throw it up there with like a little personal message, like, hey, you know, I'm reading this, I just absolutely love it, blah, blah, blah. And you'll get some comments on it. So whatever it is of what your interests are, I would definitely put those things out there if you feel comfortable doing so, to just
Okay.
engage them on a different level.
Okay. And then also I've noticed that everyone I've reached out to, like, they ignore me at first, but then on like the second reach out, they say, oh, I'm already using the product, or, oh, I am a consultant, or, oh, my best friend sells that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten that a lot.
Yep. So if they're already using the product, I usually ask, you know, oh, that's so wonderful. You know, what are you currently using? I always love to hear what products customers have fallen in love with.
Mm-hmm.
just to engage more conversation and find that stuff out for a future date, because then, like I said, in about 6 months, I mean, because 6 months to a year, you can just reach back around and be like, hey, are you still using it? You don't have to, because just because you don't ever want to poach, quote unquote, another person's PC, and that is not at all my intention when saying that. It's just following up in case I had one lady the other day that said, well, I'm on my 3rd consultant, so if this one ever falls off, I'll call you. Because that's just the nature of it sometimes. People come in and then they fall off. So no, I mean, if they're with their consultant, you want them to stay with them, obviously, but you can always revisit it, 6 months to a year out, to see how they're still liking their product. I always even ask, who's their consultant? Because if they're a local person, like, do I know them? Because I always like to support the other women around that are RF consultants. And then I always try to talk them up if they respond with somebody, that I know. If it's they're a consultant, fine. I just am like, oh, great, you must love the business as much as I do, best of luck. If they say that they have a sister or somebody that sells it, I'm like, oh, well, are you using it? Have you, because I guess what I'm going to say is, a sister, maybe that's one thing, but I have had so many that have said, oh yeah, so many of my friends sell it. Don't stop with that. That doesn't mean they're using it, A. And B, they still might buy from you. I mean, I had a girl that I worked with. I've never even met her still to this day, because we all work virtually. Mm-hmm. And I had asked her about RF. Now, granted, she's not a great PC, but I had asked her about RF. Initially, she said that, and I was like, oh, well, are you using it? She's like, no. And I was like, girl, you totally should, blah, blah, blah. And she ended up becoming a PC of mine. Okay. So you just never know. So I would not let that drop right where it's at just because they say they have a sister or a bunch of friends that sell it.
Okay. All right.
Anybody else? I'm sorry this went long. I'm kind of chatty. Okay. Last call. Okay. All right. Well, I'll end this. I'm going to stop recording.